We don't expect him to be copying Roger Moore or Sean Connery. I mean, he's an actor, and he has his own interpretation.
He portrayed all the smouldering qualities that we were trying to introduce into the picture, and he was very good in the love scenes. Certainly the action scenes, remarkable debut, really.
Now, before we get started on the film itself, I think I need to say something about Timothy Dalton. Because more than any other Bond actor, before or since, he took the role very seriously in relation to the character that Ian Fleming created. For one thing, he read all the novels. And the thing is, he was surprised once he read the novels at the distance between the literary Bond and the cinematic Bond.
You know, I've got a responsibility, at least a responsibility to know about what has gone before. It is difficult to take over in something. Somewhere along the line, you have to try and perceive what it is that has been responsible for the previous film's success. You've got to try and discover that. And you've got to put that in relationship to what it is you're reading in the books. Because the books were the foundation of it all. It's where they all sprang from, however much the movies have developed away from the books.
So I do really respect Dalton's performance, and the fact that he took the role so seriously. And in general, Dalton's performance as Bond gives the character a level of realism and gravitas that we haven't really seen before. So whereas Roger Moore was light-hearted, comical and silly, Dalton is sort of moody, world-weary and very serious. He's still doing the arse-patting though.
We weren't quite sure exactly how to go with the part, so we sort of wrote it fairly middle of the road. We didn't make it as comic as it had been with Roger.
So there's no playing up to the camera in this film, and there's no silly sound effects. And there are no sex comedy elements either, like girls hiding in wardrobes or under covers. And there ain't no slapstick neither. So Bond is no longer camp, and he ain't really very funny either. He's just very serious like he is in the novels and the short stories. And in the rare moments when Dalton is funny, it's much more of a dry and understated type of humour.
Why didn't you learn the violin?
And I do feel like this is the right sort of comedy for a James Bond film. It should be more like this.
What kept you?
Than this. So whereas Moore was mostly funny but occasionally serious, Dalton is mostly serious but occasionally funny. Having said all that, there are still some light-hearted moments. And the scene that sticks out most of all in this film in this regard is the seduction that takes place in the control room at the start. This is the only scene in the movie that feels like it belongs more in a Roger Moore Bond film than a Timothy Dalton Bond film. One thing they do retain from the earlier Bond films though is the delivery of one-liners.
What happened?
He got the boot.
So unlike the previous Bond films, this film feels a bit more grounded in reality. And some of this also has something to do with the fact that lots of the scenes are in very ordinary places and locations. So you've got things like grubby apartment buildings, and then you've got two scenes in a gentleman's toilet. And as everyone knows, those are the most disgusting places in the world. And then you also got a couple of scenes on public transport as well. Now of course this film does have lots of fancy places too, it's just that it's balanced out with some of these more ordinary locations. So I think the presence of these sort of settings gives the film a slightly grittier feel. It helps to create a slightly different type of Bond universe than the one we've been used to under Roger Moore. The violent scenes in this movie are also quite a bit more brutal. Now, not all the time, but I'm thinking of fights like this one. I think you can also see evidence of a more serious tone in how Bond defuses a bomb in this film. It just involves Bond pressing a button. And this is light years away from Roger Moore defusing a nuclear bomb in The Spy Who Loved Me. But in addition to all that, Bond is back as a bastard this time. And you can see that in the hotel room scene.
That is a security matter and cannot be discussed. Those damn stupid!
But he's also very manipulative with Cara. So he basically lies to her in the interest of completing his mission.
You're a friend of his?
We've been through quite a lot together.
So he basically deceives her in the interest of completing his mission. So I'd say this is a big plus as well. And it's the right sort of characterisation for Bond. In this respect, it's sort of reminiscent of Connery's Bond.
Careful, my nail varnish. What's going on?
Forgive me, book her, Superintendent, will you? And, be careful of her nail varnish.
I think you can also see the bastard Bond in this scene with Q as well, where Bond jokes around and pretends he's going to do a wolf whistle which will set this explosive off.
What's my code?
Oh, most appropriate. A wolf whistle.
You mean,
He's joking around in this scene of course, but it demonstrates that Bond likes to live on the edge. So he's sort of ballsy and reckless, which again is the right sort of characterisation of Bond.